Hello. Just jumping on here to do my November Hostess Club. So I hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday morning. I hope that everybody can see me and that everybody can hear me. So we are at the end of our mini catalog, July through December. And if you have not yet checked it out, there are a ton of items on the retiring list. So you can check out my website at jamieburton.stampinup.net. Yeah, lots of great deals. Check the clearance. Make sure you check out the last chance products because once they're gone, they're gone. I did place an order myself and got quite a few items at pretty low prices, so that was good. Looks like my lighting is a little dark. Let me see if that helps. That's okay. I'm going to adjust my lighting a little bit more. I'm going to open my window here. Open the curtain anyway. And see if that helps. Well, it's definitely bright. All the light reflecting off of the snow. All right, let's bring this in a little bit. All right, I think that is about as good as I'm gonna get right now. I hope that when I do my project, you will be able to see it okay. All right, so yeah, lots of last chance things. Totally cute stuff. Sad to see it go, but excited about the new catalog. I have not ordered my new stuff yet, but that will be happening hopefully later today. So let's go ahead and get rolling, and I will show you the projects that we are going to be that we made in November. So the first card is called a pop-up block card, and when you pull it, it pops out. See that? So you kind of have to watch as you cut your papers, just like that. And then I have another one that I started. It just isn't embellished yet. And I used just a different pattern paper. And look how gorgeous that is. Okay. Just like that. And then we decorated the back. So it looks like that, from our home to yours. So super, it looks way more complicated than it is, I assure you. Okay. And then I also made this little train box. Okay. Little train, choo-choo. Okay. And how cute would that be to set out on your Christmas table with just a little treat? Maybe even a cake pop or some Hershey's Kisses in there. So anyway, super easy. Wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to use as many of the Christmas stamp sets as possible. Hi, Cindy. Thanks. I'm glad you liked the project. I will be getting your stuff in the mail on Monday. Everything for November Hostess Club and December Hostess Club, because I will be getting that ready once I jump off of here. So can't wait for you to get that. And Cindy, I will also be sending you your free little gift for your birthday last month. So you'll have to let me know when you get that. All right. So for mailing purposes, I had to cut your paper down, your cardstock down a little bit. And I also included the instructions for the pop-up block card. Like just the measurements. I did not include like how to put it together because obviously you can come back to this video and watch that. All right, so now I'm going to, so everybody at Hostess Club, I just started them out with a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock to make this basic card. And that was just easier. And then I just threw this, whatever scrap they had left, into my scrap bin. So the set and dies that we will be using this month are Leaves of Holly. And I do have the bundle and all the stamps. And I have my little, I'll be using this little piece here in a little bit. And then I also included Santa's Delivery stamp set. How cute would it be to do that little box and make like a whole little train for your mantle? I just think that would be completely adorable. All right. And then the colors that I'm using for today's class is Cherry Cobbler, Real Red, Old Olive, and Evening Evergreen. So I hope you have those colors. And then when I color the train, I'll tell you what Stampin' blends I use. However, remember it's your train. You can color it however you would like, okay? And I'll kind of explain why I chose the colors I did. But again, it's your train. So color with what you have fun, and enjoy it. All right. Got my watermelon Red Bull. By the way, it is delicious. I need to grab a pencil here. Of course, I don't have a pencil, so I will use my trusty pink pen for all the cutting. So first off, I'm going to grab my trimmer here, and I'm going to cut the pieces. I literally just turned that upside down. All right. So my card base is 4 1/4 by 8. So I'm going to cut that first. I'm going to start by cutting it at 4 1/4. Keep this to the side, and then I'm going to cut it at 8 inches. All right, so this piece I will be using, so I'll just set that right there. And then I have to score it at 1 1/4 and 2 1/2. So I'm going to put my cutting blade up, and I'm going to score it at 1 1/4. And then I'm going to score it at 2 1/2. And again, all of these measurements are on the sheet that will come in your kit. Okay. All right. So then so that's the card base. That's all there is to it. Just like that. So I'll set that there. And then these next pieces, I'm going to number them so that they are easier for me to keep track of. So with this little square that I have left, I'm going to cut it at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now, I am going to score. Now, this is a square. So I'm going to number this piece 1. And I'm not going to worry about my number being right in the middle or that it's in ink because I'm going to cover it up anyway. It will be fine. And then I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Oh, 1 inch, 2 1/4, and 3 1/4. Okay. So those were 1 1/4, or 1 inch, sorry, 2 1/4, and 3 1/4. Okay, so that's piece 1. And I'm going to just set that. I don't think I need my arm out anymore. I'm going to set that, just my pieces right here. Now, piece number 2 is going to be 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to cut my paper all the way down at 3 1/4 inches. Okay. And now I'm going to cut 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And this one is piece 2. And I'm going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to score it at 2 inches. And then I'm going to score it again at 2 3/4 inches. And that's my score marks for piece number 2. Piece number 3 is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay. And then I'm going to score this piece at 1/2 inch, 1 3/4 of an inch, and 2 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And this was piece number 3. Piece number 4 is going to be 2 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. And this is number 4. And I'm going to score this one at 1/4, 1 1/2, and 1 3/4. All right. And then I still need a piece that will go on the back because my card base is not real like heavy duty because I used a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock and I didn't use like extra heavy weight. So to give it some more support, I added another layer of white cardstock. And so that piece with the remaining is going to be 4 1/4 or 4 inches, I'm sorry, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Okay. Just like that. So with my 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, I have all of this for scrap. Okay. And yes, I will save all of my scrap. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in I actually keep a little basket by my desk that is just for white scraps. Yes, Cindy, this is a Stampin' Up cutter. They are $25 and then they come with the 2 blades. And then if you want to buy refill blades, you get 4 for $12. So it is a super awesome deal. And I actually, I will tell you point blank if I like a product or don't like a product. And this I cannot live without. Okay. I will not lie. There are other things that I don't like, but I'll tell you about those too. Okay. So that piece here is going to be my back. So it will glue this on here after we stamp and decorate it. Okay. All right. Also in your kit, you have all of these pieces. Okay. All right. So let me kind of sort my pieces. This square and this train and these 2 trains are for the other project. So I'm going to just set those aside. In my kit, I have a piece of pattern paper and another piece of DSP. Now this strip of DSP will get glued on here later on the bottom of that. So I'm just going to leave that there. And then you have a strip of gold, which also gets glued on that back piece. So I'm going to set that there. Remember, I want to keep my pieces in order. And then all of these other little pieces are for the actual assembly of and embellishing of the card. All right, so when you are cutting this piece of cardstock or this piece of DSP, okay, I have already cut it to 4 1/8. Okay, wait, no, yes. So it's already 4 1/8 this way. So you start out with a piece that is 4 1/8 by 5 5/8. Okay. And so on the instructions, we need 5 pieces that are 1 1/8 inch. But in order for your pattern to go together, you really need to keep your pieces in order. Does that make sense? All right, so what I'm going to do, and one thing I like about the Stampin' Up! Cutter is 1 1/8. I can measure 1 1/8 on this side of my cut line. So 1 1/8, and I'm going to just put it here. 1 1/8, and I'm going to keep my pieces in order, and it's going to go there. 1 1/8, and it's going to go here. 1 1/8, and then you should have 2 pieces left that are both 1 1/8. Okay. All right, so those are my 5 pieces. Now, if you mess up, here is what I told the people that came to Hostess Club. If you end up with a piece that is skinnier at the end, like your last piece isn't as wide as it's supposed to be, which happened to a couple people, you will take your skinniest piece, and so if your last piece that you cut was, say, this one, that will be for your first piece, because the majority of this panel gets covered by all the embellishments. So nobody's going to notice if this piece is just a slightly bit skinnier than the rest, okay? Because when you look at the panel, you see that that first panel is pretty much all covered, okay? The rest of them are not. So if you mess up on your cutting, do not fret. Just stick that skinny piece here. If you have to, if you laid your pieces out, just rotate it, okay? If this end piece was your skinniest piece, rotate it. Call it good, okay? There. All my pieces are still going to match up. They're fine. I did rotate the paper, but, okay, it's still a piece. Because I know how this, I'm just going to leave it like this, and we're going to call it good. Okay, so this is our end result. Skinnier piece, if you end up with one, just flip your pattern, put it on the first panel, you'll be good to go. All right, so I have these pieces cut. Now I need to trim a little bit off of each of these. Now, whatever I trim off the top, I will also trim off the bottom to keep our pattern completely lined up. Okay, so on panel 1, we're not going to cut. We're not going to do anything to panel 1. Panel 2, I'm going to take panel 2, and I am going to cut 1/4 of an inch off of each end. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to rotate it, cut 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to put it back where it goes. Okay, now I'm going to take panel 3, and I'm going to cut 1/2 inch off of each end. So cut at 1/2 inch. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to cut at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to put my piece back where it goes. Okay, I think that's how it went. Okay, now I'm going to take the next piece, and I'm going to cut 3/4 of an inch off of each end. 3/4 of an inch, rotate it, and cut 3/4 of an inch. All right, so I think it goes like that. Yep. Okay, and then on the last one, I'm going to cut 1 inch off of each end. and rotate it and cut an inch off of each end. There we go. And now I'm going to put my piece like that. So those are the pieces that I will need with my DSP. Now I think I'm probably done with my cutter. So I'm going to just set that over here. And if I need it, I'll grab it back out, but we'll see. All right, I'm going to take my card base panel and I'm going to glue my first piece right there onto that panel. So is everybody all ready for Christmas? I'll be honest, I haven't really started shopping at all, but I'll get there. All right, so there we go. So I'm gonna, that's my first piece. Now I'm gonna take my stack of all the pieces and I'm gonna put them in order. And I'm gonna start with piece number 1, okay? And because I drew on this, I want to flip it over. Okay, and I'm gonna fold, grab my Teflon bone folder here, and I'm gonna fold, and I'm gonna fold. So now that number is on the back, okay? Nobody's ever gonna see the number. So when I fold it, it's gonna look like this, okay? And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold it in half. Kind of in half. So I have two panels and then I have 2 panels. So that's half. So I have 2 on the front and 2 on the back. I'm gonna, with my 2 larger panels on the front, I'm gonna line this up. Okay. And then I'm gonna take my art glitter glue and I'm going to take, and I'm just gonna put glue on that first panel. And then I'm gonna, and see, I centered it between the top and the bottom. And then I'm just going to close this panel. Okay. And then I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see. So this piece is now connected. You see where I glued it there? Now I'm going to take, and I'm going to put glue, still leaving this flat. I'm going to put glue on this panel. Now, if you wanted to use tear and tape, or score tape, you certainly could. And I'm just going to close it. Okay. Just like that. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to give that liquid glue a second to set up. Okay. Because when you're using liquid glue, and we're going to be pulling on this quite a bit. Okay. Looky there. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to take, while I'm here, my second piece here. And I am going to put glue on that. And this is actually going to get centered on the second panel. Okay. There we go. All right, now I'm going to grab piece number 2. Remember, I have my number in ink. And technically, this panel, this piece right here, is going to go over it. So I wouldn't really have to worry about flipping it, but I will flip it, okay? So we will fold again, and we're just doing the same steps again and again and again. Okay, we're just repeating the same things. All right, so I have 2 panels and then 2 panels. So it's folded in half and it's flat, okay? I'm going to center this piece between the top and the bottom, and I'm going to put glue just on the one panel on the left hand side, and then I'm going to close that down and just give it a second to set up. Okay, then I'm going to put glue now on this little skinny panel. Okay, and now I'm going to glue it flat. So everything needs to stay flat and then it will pop up. But you got to let that liquid glue, it does take a second to set up. So I don't want to open it too early because then, you know, I'll just have to start over. Now I'm going to take my DSP and I'm going to open the panel so that I can see the whole panel. And I'm going to center that and then close it and lay it flat. Okay. Do you see how now my pattern is not, yeah, I messed up. I think, I don't know what I did. I don't think I put this piece on correct. Well, maybe I did. Yeah, I don't know. But this piece and this piece do not match. But these two do. And I guess I'm not going to worry about it because, like I said, this panel is mostly covered up. Nobody's going to see it anyway. So if you don't look at that, my pattern goes. Okay. So I don't know. Maybe I did it completely wrong. I hope you guys do better than I did. Well, that's not going to go there, but that piece will go this way. There we go. Okay. Piece number 3, squirrel. And got my number on the outside, but I can just, it's just paper. I'll just fold it back the other way so that my number stays on the inside. Okay. There we go. I know that this big piece right here is where my pattern piece is going to go. So I'm just going to stick it there while it's flat. Center it the best I can. There we are. All right, so 2 panels in the front, 2 panels in the back. I'm going to put a little glue on the left-hand panel. I'm going to center it with the panel before it, and I'm going to glue it down. Now I'm going to, oh, look at, see, I didn't let it set up enough. Let's try that again, and I'm gonna hold it down just a little bit so it can set up. Hey Tanya, I'm so glad you joined us. Hopefully you are feeling a little better today. All right, now I'm gonna try that gluing again. I'm gonna put glue just on that skinny piece, and then I'm gonna lay it flat and I'm gonna hold it for a second. It is snowy and white outside today. All right, that should be good. There we go. Looky there. Okay. Now I am going to put my final piece on. Yes, these are real skinny. That's okay. Okay. All right, so this is how this will look, okay? You have a real skinny edge here, and then you have this and then this piece. So when we glue it down, these 2 pieces are the ones going to be on the back. And I'm going to take my last little DSP, put some glue right there. I'm going to center that on there. There we go. Now, I'm going to put glue just on this little flap here. Just like that. And now I'm going to center it with the last flap. Line up my images the best I can. And now we're going to give that a second to set up a little. All right, so here is the last one. I'm going to put glue right there on that little panel. Okay. I'm going to flatten it out. And now I'm going to hold it. All right. That's like the basis of the whole card. What do you think about that? Okay, I'm going to set that up here. I'm going to grab this piece. Now, I am going to stamp on here, but I did not stamp in the kits because number 1, you have to cut your paper. And number 2, you can really pick any sentiment, Christmas sentiment that you may have. So And this piece is longer, so you can kind of decide, like I really want this corner, but not so much that one. So you can kind of position, and then you'll just trim off whatever hangs over. Okay. Gone. And then I'm going to take my gold piece, and I'm just going to take a little line of our glitter glue, and I'm going to butt that up. Now you don't have to go as high. You could put the glitter piece on top of the DSP. It's really up to you where you decide you want to put it. And then I'll trim off the extra there. All right, now I'm going to stamp a sentiment. It's from here. I would like to put from our home to yours. So I'm going to grab that sentiment out of my stamp set. Oh, there it is. And grab myself an acrylic block. There we go. And on my original card, I used black ink, so we'll get out the Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm going to just take a little sticky note here, and I'm going to stamp on there first to make sure it's going to look good. Oh, yeah. I don't think it's very straight. So sometimes when you put on your block, you kind of see how it's kind of rounded there. So I'm going to just put the stamp right here and let it just do its thing. And then I'm just going to set my block. And now it should be more straight instead of crooked. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp from our home to yours right there. And now that back panel is done. So I'm going to add some glue to the back. And flip this over. Go ahead and there we go, just like that. And now my card base is much more sturdy. Now we just have to dress up the front with all of these pieces. Now I do have some smaller pieces here. So I'm going to grab my silicone mat so that I can do all the gluing on there. This morning I cleaned this. I just took a Clorox wipe and I wiped it down, and then I took my scraping tool, which you like, that's what I have. But like the Cricut scraper or something flat, you can just, or even like probably a gift card, just scrape all that adhesive off. That's what I love about the silicone mat. Yes, Cindy, I love this stamp set too. Unfortunately, the dies are no longer available. All you can get is the stamp set. How sad is that? All right, so I have this little piece of gold trim that I want to peel out of there. We don't need that. And then I'm going to take my poker here and I'm going to get all of the inside pieces. So if I did not take the time to clean these out for anybody, so you may have to poke out all those extra pieces. All right, now this piece here, kind of a funny looking little piece, is actually the piece that goes right behind those leaves. Okay, so can you see that that's green? All right, so I'm going to take just a little bit of glue. And because I don't want my glue to ooze, I'm going to take and I'm going to set, like kind of blob it off on my silicone craft sheet like that. And then I'm going to glue it to that green panel there. And then there we are. kind of hard to see, but there we go. All right, now I'm going to take my Christmas wishes and I'm just going to rub it through that glue. Might as well use it, right? And then I'm going to glue this right like that. Okay. Now, here we are. And then I have my berries, and they have a pretty little gold embellishment. Also, I'm going to put a little adhesive here. Tap it off. And then I'm going to line it up and glue that down. So now you have your berries. All right, so with my berries, oh, that's a mess. I popped up my berries with some dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 dimensionals on the back of my berries. And I'm going to stick that right like this, okay? Now I still have 2 gold and 2 green. So I want these 2 to be pairs, and I want these 2 to be pairs at the bottom, okay? So when I stick these in or on my card, I want to make sure that I have them with their partner. All right, now I'm going to bring my card back in. I'm only going to put glue on about that much, okay? Because I only want the glue to be on the first panel, okay? I don't want my tag to be glued to the second panel, just the first one, okay? Hold that down. Now I'm going to put just a little dab of glue at the back, and I'm going to slide it in here behind. There we are. And then I'm going to put a little more glue on the back of this one, and I'm going to slide it also in there. And I'm going to now put some little glue here so I can hold that just like that. All right, now I'm going to put the green one in first on the bottom. There we are. And then I'm going to put the gold one in, just like so. And there we are. Finished card. So this is the card I just made. And here is the original. Now you might notice that the golds are a little bit different, and let me tell you why. So I went to a scrapbook retreat, and I had forgotten to take my Stampin' Up! Gold. So I had to use what another person had on hand to design my card. And that was the color of gold that they had. And so that's what I used. Unfortunately, it's definitely not the same color. So that's why you're going to see a little bit of difference in those golds from the original to the one that you got to put together. All right. Your pattern paper may vary depending on envelope, but just keep in mind, keep it together. And I do plan on finishing this one today. You know, all I have to do is do the embellishing part, but how beautiful is that? I just love it. Okay. So that is the first project. The second project, super quick, super easy. We're going to start off by doing some scoring. Now this piece measures 4 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to grab my trimmer and I'm going to score it at 1 inch on all 4 sides. So 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch. Okay. There we go. All right, so I'm going to fold and burnish on all 4 sides. Okay, done that. Now I'm going to cut up to the score line and angle cut. Cut up to the score line and angle cut. And then I'm going to angle cut at this end, and I'm going to angle cut at this end. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Angle cut, cut straight, add a wedge there. Okay? And then add a wedge and angle cut the end. All right. So this is going to make our box. Okay? So I'm going to add some liquid glue here and some liquid glue here. And I'm going to hold those for just a second so they can dry. Now I'm going to have some liquid glue here and some liquid glue there. And I'm going, put those on the inside and hold those for a second so they can dry. And that is our little box. I have some little Santa Hershey's Kisses here. How cute would that be? Okay, you could have those in there if you wanted. I could put these in this one. There we go. Ho, 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 little Santa Hershey's Kisses. Okay, so that's our box. Easy peasy. Now you have 2 of these white sleigh die cut or train die cuts. Now, you can decide where they go. When you put them on, like this box, I designed literally to fit in this section. Okay, so your tires are going to hang out of the bottom. Okay, can you see that? And then I'm going to put this train this way, so that way I have a matching train. Okay, there we go. It's pretty level. All right, so this is actually going to be the front of my train. This will be the back, but I am going to do some coloring and then I'll die cut my train out so that it matches. All right, let's see. What colors do I want to use? So on my original train, keep in mind, I didn't even have, like I designed this at that scrapbooking thing that I was at. So I am going to use Parakeet Party, and I am going to use Real Red. Sweet Sorbet. Looking for Real Red. Oh, there we are. And I'm going to use my blacks and my gray granite. Okay, so I think that's all the colors that I will need to color. All right, so it looks like I colored the insides of my tires green. Okay. Now this is dark Parakeet Party. And I'm just using a little dark on the edges, just like that. Now I'm going to take my light parakeet party. Use my brush tip, maybe that'll be better. And then just do these little triangles at the bottom. Now I chose green because number one, I really like bright red and green Christmas colors versus the darker ones. Like this green versus like pine green. And I couldn't do the train red, which I really wanted to do red, because Santa's coat is red. So I was kind of in a little bit of a dilemma, like how do I color this? Oh, there we are. Now I'm going to take my dark, real red. And I'm going to go under to his little jacket, under his beard. All right. Boy, my coloring. I don't know if you can see that, but I totally messed up. I'm going to see if I can fix it with my colorless blender. Red's kind of a hard one to fix, but I'm going to just take my colorless blender and I'm just going to color it right there. And I'm going to see if I can erase some of that red. And I'm going to let it do its thing. Now I'm going to take some black and some black. And then I'm going to take the light black and the light black. And I'm going to finish the tires with light black. There we are. And now I'm going to take my gray granite. I think I'm going to do dark gray granite, and I'm going to color his mittens. I'm going to color this piece right here. The little fender on the train, the nose of the train, these other triangles. Now the nice thing about these dies is you can die cut from the matching coordinating paper for Santa's delivery. And I do love that about Stampin' Up. So if you really don't have an interest in coloring all the trains, you could certainly die cut all the trains. Now I'm going to take the light gray granite and just go along the top and along the bottom. I'm going to come back over here and see if I can cover up some of that red that I got out of the lines with. But you know, who's gonna really notice? Now, the only thing I forgot to do was grab pale pink for Santa's face. Or petal pink, sorry. So I'm gonna grab light petal pink and I'm just gonna color Santa's face with some light petal pink. All right, so here we are. So you can see it. Now I'm going to grab my die cut. And we're going to sit it right there. have a piece of a Post-it note tape. And then I'm going to use the puff accent paint, puff paint. And I am going to do his beard with the snowball puff paint. Now, the snowball puff paint has been discontinued and it is clearance priced on my website. So if you like the way this looks and you are interested in it, go grab it before it's gone, because once it's gone, it's gone. And I love the puff paint. All right, let me find my bottle of puff paint. I guess that would be a great place to start. I don't know what I did with it. I'm gonna need my heat gun for it. Well, darn it. What did I do with that puff paint? Apparently, I have not had enough Red Bull today because I'm not really sure what I did with it. Of course, you know, it's been here and now I've misplaced. Oh, there it is. I found it. So this is what it looks like. It is Snowball Accents Puff Paint. So you got to make sure you shake it up real good. I'm going to die cut this because you want to have it die cut or cut out before you can do the puff paint. I'm going to stick this through my Gemini. Here we are. Take my little Post-it note, stick it over there. And I really like the die because it cuts out this little hole. All right. So I am actually going to glue my train on. Okay. Just like this. Line it up. Glue it on. And that way I kind of have something to hold on to when I add the puff paint. Now, when you add the puff paint, it is super, super liquidy. Okay? So you don't need a lot. You can always add more. So I'm going to add just a, oh, see, it's just like, so I'm just spreading out that one drop and going real thin, a little bit on his little ball there. All right. Now I'm going to heat up my heat gun, let it heat up. Now, if you overheat the puff paint, it will look like meringue, like it will start to brown. So it is much better to have your heat gun nice and hot. Okay. And I'm just going to swirl it and you will watch it like it will puff up. Oh, there we go. It's starting to puff. Starting to puff. There we go. Look at that. And you can see it happening. I know it was really hard to see on screen or down there. But can you see that little puff there from the side? Look how much that puffs up. Okay. And if you want it more puffy, I'll see if I can do it from up here. That heat makes it puff. There we are. See how much more puffy that got? But like I said, it will turn brown if it's overheated. So be careful with that. And like I also said, it's discontinued. I think it's like $2 a bottle now on my website. So remember that website is jamieburton.stampinup.net. All right, so there we go. That is our, oh, I forgot the little sentiment. Now, the sentiment says sleigh delivered, and it comes from this stamp, elf approved and sleigh delivered. Okay, I just took, and so you've only got part of it. You're going to have to trim it out a little bit. Sleigh delivered. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here. I have my little sentiment here, and I save all of these tiny little strips that I cut off paper. See this? Most people throw this away. I am actually going to glue this a couple layers to the back so I can add some dimension to my little sleigh delivered. Okay. I'm going to do that about 4 times. Trim it. Add some glue. Make it a little thicker. Okay. Add some glue. There we go. Trim it. So this is going to give dimension. It's also going to help you use your scraps because you don't have to use foam tape, right? So, like, use all the things. There we are. Look at that. Okay. Look how thick that is now. You know, here is one sheet, and then that was 3 or 4. So it's a little bit of dimension. Now I'm going to add a little bit of glue, and I'm going to place it right there. Sleigh delivered. Oh, that was a little crooked. There we go. There we are. And that is our second project for our November Hostess Club. So this one, and here's my original. And look at, I'm going to show you something. I did not pop up sleigh delivered on the first one. I think it just adds so much when you pop it up. All right, so I'm going to throw those candies back in the first one. Okay, so you can see it holds quite a bit of candy. And there we are. So I hope that you enjoyed this month's project. I know that I certainly enjoyed teaching it. Please let me know if you have any questions. I am available via email, text message, any of the ways. And of course, you can reach me on Facebook. And leave a comment here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And make all the memories with your family, because after all, they are the ones that count. So I love you all. And just remember that every project you make is incredible. Have a great day. Bye-bye, guys.